Can scream, no, and that's a fucking joke. Hi, I'm Neil. I understand that I'm apparently fantastic and definitely from England. The next hour is gonna be weird. We're weird, the bunch of us, so I'm gonna hold your hands at the start. This is a love story in 3 short poems. Come to mine with open night bag. Come to mine and bring a bag. No, I don't just want your body. No, it's not a one-night stand. And if I should wake tomorrow and should find that you have changed, no, though it would break my heart so. No, I won't hold you to blame. There is such distance between us, I want to make it just a breath. Though I want you forever, I could settle for less. 2. Your eyes have a fire, your touch is electric, your voice sings in my bones. When I'm drunk, I'm witty and charming, I'm handsome and dashing, I'm all that you need when you're drunk. So you go by this round and I'll by the next. We'll drink till we like us and then go to bed. 3. There's such longing in your eyes, such longing I've never seen before. There's such longing in your eyes whenever they go to the door. I lived in a northern city called Hull, which most famously boasts the highest heroin addiction rate in the entirety of England. In my 3rd year living there, I was signed to a landlord who I was signed to until July, and the police kicked his door down in January. I wrote this poem in February. KC Accommodations' finest creation is this dissertation of rage and frustration. The agent had me feeling like a girl in love for the first time. I gave him what he wanted and found out he was the worst guy. You were so great and accommodating back when we started dating till you got me in bed, then you fucked me and left me bleeding. Casey, you wine me and dine me right up till I side lease, then face it, you crime me. I pay a big bill so you'll pay the utilities, but I got a letter from British Gas and I cut under supply. Why? You didn't pay them. Shit, why do I pay rent? I might as well sleep on a pavement. But on the bright side, this could mean goodnight mice. Freeze them to death. Yeah, that's nice. They're infesting my kitchen through holes you're not fixing, but someone got snitched and now you're looking at prison. But I hope the police lose their case and drop you from their gate so I can come by your place, leave you in an alleyway grave where I might see your face. Excuse me, I'm in a bad place. Mentally and environmentally, and you're meant to be taking care of the latter, not just watching your wallet get fatter, but you're about on form with the former. I informed her of my drinking problem. She said she'd help me get sober. But if I come to counselling drunk one more time, counselling's over. The Swartzig logic has me upside down, spinning round until I drill into the ground, but that's the sky now since we're dealing with opposites. And on top of it all, I gotta stay on top of the ball academically while I'm getting fucked systemically and put another on top because the writing's stopped, the piping's blocked, so sink will drain my brain of the shame of it all sounding the same! Alcohol and bad relationships. Well, here's some crazy shit that I've just gotta let go from my occipital lobe. I need a reciprocal rope. I'm at the end of my rope. From tugs of war and love, and I've been wearing lotion like a glove, but days are tough and nights are hard, living as the bard of the ever-embittered. Shit had better get better soon, I better get out of this room where there's nothing to do but to drink and to smoke and to think of some jokes I can tell to some folks I don't know, but nothing will grow even though so much seed has been sown. I could grow my own clone, and then just go home and really fuck myself. Like I have by reading this verse, which ain't even my worst. Save that prize for the first. But hey, that's often the case. At least she had a nice face. When I was off mine, she was fine. But when the sun rose, I just froze with regret, stole her last cigarette, and just left her bereft of this death-driven liver, best gift I could give her. Memory makes me shiver, looked like she'd delivered either John Prescott or a bus stop, and I must stop with how my lust flops. Wait, that came out wrong. Like the Royal Navy docked in Brighton. Enough, I'm quite done. So I lived in Hull for 3 years, and there were 2 people who I lived with the whole time I was there. One of them I still talk to, not as much as I'd like to, but that kind of happens when you move country. The other one I haven't heard from since. This is about him. I first met him in our first year. Like-minded people were our worst fear. And even just between us, it was like our third beer before our voices could be heard clear. But when that time would arise, we would find that our minds were inclined to align. So when my lines always rhyme in Polissa lullabies, that's me aping conversation with a guy that I liked. We'd reminisce over times when if your mind wasn't right, you could find you a fight. And fantasize about buying some bikes and timing it right. See some guys try them for size and be within our rights to give them our rights. Just bullshit and violent fantasies keep them slipping into silent apathy. See, I came from Lawnswood, he came from another hard school. The kind where hands were only raised outside of classrooms. And having an opinion, man, who asked you? You're just a sad fool, and I've got a mad crew just waiting for a chance to, was your answer. So you were best advised to keep your mouth shut. So we didn't understand this clowning around that everybody else seemed so damn proud of. A high value placed on worthless words, the more absurds preferred. A low value placed on wordless nerds who'd been hurt by herds. We weren't just tugging on our loose ends, we had a few friends. A druggie, a dropout, and a gentleman. And since we drink together and we think together, it made sense that we should live together. But even staying in the same place, I wouldn't see him for days. He had the strangest of ways, he'd hibernate in his cave. I got a letter from his parents that complained that he ain't been in contact. Shit, I live with him and he ain't been in contact since he signed to this contract. Yeah, with KC, and put another on top, the librarian's sending late fees. Cause he ain't been on campus lately since the last time he fainted, his face hit the pavement. Man, don't tell them that, they're waiting. To hear some good news, to cheer on you, not fear for you or shed tears for you. You don't have to lie. Being unclear will do. Just put them in a cheerful mood, then we can get a beer or two and feel like superheroes, dude. There's too much to explain, so I'll cut to the chase. I was stuck in the place that Matt's deserting, and that fact's hurting. So I bomb to the bottom of a bottle of bourbon and pass out. I wake up and see that Matt's out, that Matt's left this address, but Matt hasn't left his address. He saw me through when times were tough, and heard me out when lines were rough. And now the only way that I can say goodbye is to recite these useless rhymes. Okay, who needs cheering up? Fuck it, I need cheering up, and more importantly, I have a set list to get through, so regardless of whether you need cheering up, I'm doing my cheer you up poem next. I mean, no, tonight's spontaneous and organic. Okay, so there's two things I do well. I write rhymes, and I make salads. I make a motherfucker with a salad. These are rhymes about my salad making skills. This class is for salads, for smashing of pallets. I've got ill skills with the grass and the radish. To pass in this challenge, you gotta mash with some balance. Master this talent, get asked by the gallons. For starters, tomatoes, a bargain at market. Not including them's as silly as LARPing, and leaves your guests as depressed as larking. From here it gets harder, be sure to hearken. For salad better than the treat in the sheets, my best advice is, don't sleep on the meat. Chorizos as blissful as getting kissed low like you hung mistletoe where your piss go. Play the onion as cunning as getting blunted in public. Most folks wouldn't trust it, they'd call it disgusting, but they'd do what they were told if it was running on bunions. Don't take word one, they're stuttering. Ominous buzzing. But some grated carrot is great in balance. Sure, they've got taste and vitamins, but they can overstate like hype man. For salad bitten more than B.I.G., make it more than slightly spicy. Grab some chili and slice it tightly. Slip it in quietly like a conspiracy. Don't force it like that last rhyme has been. You got pretty deep in, I'll let you in on a secret. You need berries for secreting their colour and flavour, and like making any culture less racist, a mix of colours is major. Don't be a culinary lamer where food is dull as some paper. And if you're betting on getting shredded lettuce, forget it. It's simple as a pet is and dirty like a fetish. Stop it, use the rocket, it'll rock it. A little wine for the dressing, but don't get alcoholic. Don't be an uncool rhombus spewing pools of vomit. And sprinkle vinegar and oil in. Like any dressing, the best is lesson. And here's a secret weapon I'm confessing. Orange juice with pulp makes your salad blessed. That's about all that you'll get from me. To bring your salad to the next degree, you've got to experiment more than you did sexually. This is a set list, it's much shorter than my enemies list. This typically opens my sets. I've jammed it in the middle, and I'm having to introduce it for the first time. This is puzzling and difficult for me. The saint sits in a bad mood in the sad corner of a dark room. Soon they'll all wake from their sex and their drugs, and they'll see what he's done, and they'll grab a few planks and a fistful of nails, and they'll crucify him. This he anticipates eagerly, for there must be such ecstasy and absolute destruction, and the more protracted, the more orgasmic. He plays with an empty deodorant can, its hollow rattle teasing him. In a particularly unfriendly corner of his mouth sits a cigarette, smouldering patiently to its stub, where he rubs it out and spits jealousy. A man comes in. He's large and has friends. He pulls the saint to his feet, and in this moment the saint feels fear, and the ecstasy kicks in. I like this poem. I like this next poem a lot. No one else does. I'm going to perform it because fuck you. Zelda's preparing her face in the mirror, all made up just so you won't see her. Her clothing is chosen for showing her growing. She hopes you won't notice that river is frozen. Too embarrassed by parents to see that she scares them. They tried to prepare her, all she heard was beware fun. That's why she's so careless, small feet on those stairs, son. Dangerous to herself and others, nervous, she laughs and recovers, but she's so brittle under those covers. That's nice, but you're lying. Alright, so I spent a month back in England in June, and I visited old friends. And there's one old friend I'm just never going to see again. And I was visiting, and I wrote him this letter. And then instead of sending him this letter, I read it to a bunch of strangers in a different country. Which is a lie, I fucking know half the people here. I'm not going to see you this month. It's been 2 years since we were done. But there were like 2 years when we were one. I wonder how much longer I can hear your voice or see your face before it all seems the same. It's already just flashes and imagery, like my past getting rid of me. We were slow to make friends and too fast to be enemies. Remember laughing, running fast through those inner streets, caught in danger, trying to distort the angles, like if we applied imagination to describe a higher state, then if we defined it in our statements, we would find it was our nation, only wiser and more greater. Remember when our choices were to change the world or die? Remember being younger and brighter than that glint in your eye? Remember midnight walks, 3-4 hours, fill the time with talk, our minds restore the blitzed out corpse of that church or this cinema, or a new future for that abandoned hotel on Bev Road. Remember how you were going to win the lottery and buy it just to have a place to offer me and your other friends so you'd never stop to see us, just stop to see us whenever you got that feeling? Remember wishing you could stop your feelings? Eyes fixed, staring beyond our ceiling of stars, beyond little local Venus and Mars, staring the great nothing in its eyes and wanting just to be in its arms. Remember how you'd leave that behind once she found you, right? My memory's cloudy, I'm talking just to clean out my mind. I'm worried I've got to hide you deep in my rhymes because I'm gonna leave you behind, so I'm giving you this piece of my mind, it's yours. It's no hotel on Bev Road, but it's better than a headstone. Let's get back to the stress though. Remember how it was gone from your dreams when she came onto your scene? We'd still wander the streets, our old ponderous beat, but there was song in your speech. I wanted to thank her for your smile, and for that laugh I hadn't heard in a while. We talked easier than taking words from our mouths. There were some peaceful months between the three of us. It's a cliche what got between all us. Pride, envy, greed, and lust. I remember it was you two and Matt at my first performance. And now it's only her that I'm able to talk to. I told you how I was starting to feel, to be honest, and with my promise to never act on it. You were my brother. Fucker, I loved you. But you couldn't trust me or trust her. You tried to control her, I tried to back away. I'm laying no blame, we neither did great, but she could only feel free when she came by my place. We got on so easy, she could be her, I could be me. She wasn't creeping, it wasn't sleazy. There was something in the air. We just didn't breathe in. But you couldn't believe her or believe me. You're seeing obscene scenes in your deep dreams. You should be sleeping, instead you're seething when you see me and twisting my words into new meanings. I remember our last midnight walk. The last time we still had time to talk. For those sweet hours we were blind to all the green mold that had grown inside our walls. It was amazing, that final walk, but we just buried the danger like knives in drawers. Like Evelyn Vaughan, it wasn't forever before our decline and fall. When we met, you seemed so wise and tall. When we left, you seemed so blind and small. Neither is true, but my mind is warped, because the last thing you said to me, you used it to threaten me. Had me identifying with the message, see. I remember what it said to me. How love changes, and best friends become strangers. This is an experimental poem. It's based on experimenting with minimalism and amphetamines. Man, that was fun! Tack. I wrote these next two, which are my last two, within a week of each other. They're linked in my brain. Apparently the second one's the best one I've ever done and probably ever will do. I think I prefer the first one, but that's the way it goes. You are not who I expected, plant cuttings grown apart. If we could rebuild, rewind, replace, read through, instead we regret our reed-like flesh, papery husks of knives, brittle and sharp to the touch, worn out, worn down, worn through, by too much and not enough, bending beneath the brilliant sun that births us and burns us, bleeds us and breathes us and breeds us and bites us and bakes us and makes us and takes us and fates us, and I hate this! I want to crash screaming through oblivion, plummeting into the silence, obscenity splattering rainbows across the void like knowledge on a suicide's walls. Because one person's eternity can be another's few hours with rubber gloves and a wire brush, and if death is nothingness, why allow life to imitate it? Woo! I like that one, fuck you. Okay, here's the one people actually like. And she asks me, do you believe in ghosts? I laugh. I shake my head, and I say no. Eyebrows raised, I return her question. She taps a cigarette and observes me through the smoke. Of course I do. I see them every day. Each different path that a life could take creates a new life, a new liver, a new world they've been given. So each pathway untaken kills the person that pathway created. Some hold our hands, others laugh in our faces. You only see them sometimes. Like on a wintry sunrise, or when the wind in the trees unties your rational brain from its actual place and leads you on a lateral chase across astral planes. Or you meet them on some sleepless night. Their cold arms spoon you and keep you tight, whispering what could have been, ifs and mights. There goes one now. Oh, the poor thing. That's me who never had the abortion. She always looks so fucking exhausted. And there's me with the employable degree. With her money, I could do whatever I please, but she's got no time. The only letters she reads form emails and reports to delete or to forward. Mine can build whole worlds from the floor up, leave me defeated or soaring, weeping or raucous. Sure, I use drink and other drugs a little more than I ought to, but her drink was spiked with society's poison. She focuses her eyes on the getting of more things. I close mine and what appears is enormous. You can take my body, you'll never find my mind in a coffin. It'll rise into orbit like government satellites designed to spy on us. I want you to promise that you will scribe honest. For we have died 1,000 times, but if you write 1,000 lines that climb inside 1,000 minds, then we could live 1,000 lives. And she asks me, will you carry this ghost for me? I want to tell her I would host for free and keep it close to me, that this is the way it was supposed to be. But I was too busy staring at the ghost away. Tack!